Welcome to Mission Imperfect, the podcast about navigating the twists and turns of life and embracing the imperfections of the journey.
We're your hosts, life coaches Catherine and Kirsty, and our mission is to support you in finding your own path, your own way, with greater clarity and self trust, no matter how messy or uncertain things may seem.
We address the roadblocks that come up time and time again for our coaching clients, from acceptance and boundaries to values and well-being and everything in between.
As well as asking lots of questions, a coach's favourite thing to do, we'll be sharing thoughts and insights and offering plenty of tips, tools, and techniques for you to try.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to grab a cuppa and a biscuit and join us in getting lost in finding ourselves. Hello and welcome to Mission Imperfect. Well, our last episode was all about where's my motivation gone. So in this TTT episode, as we're starting to call them, the tips, tools and techniques, but not necessarily in that order, we are addressing what to do when your motivation has gone AWOL. So Catherine, tell us what to do when our motivation has gone AWOL.
Well, I wave a magic wand. No, sorry, that's setting us off for a false start. No, we spoke about in depth, I think, last time about what motivation is, why it's tricky, why waiting for it can keep us stuck. All that's very well and good, but today we want to share some simple, practical ways to take action without needing the motivation to come
Ooh.
first. So it's not about forcing yourself, because that might sound like we're going to say, well, you have to crack the whip and get on with it. And it's not about shoulds, but it's just about trying to make some kind of movement from which the motivation can then actually make a very welcome return. Because as I think
Hmm.
we did discuss this last time, it's when we wait for something to appear, it's very unlikely to just do so of its own accord. And
Damn.
actually getting stuff moving can actually make us feel more motivated to continue.
We're not
So
going to
that's the
say just do
premise.
it though, are we?
We're not going to say just do it. No, we're not going to
Thank
steal
you.
some logos.
Thank you.
But in what I'm hoping will come to light is when we go through these. I think I've got three. That seems to be our magic number at the moment, doesn't it, Kirsty? For the ones we try to cover, that it's kind of like a more of a gentle encouragement, like carrot more than stick. I think we'll say. So
Oh, can we have
let's
carrot
start.
cake?
Oh,
Sorry,
love carrot
carry
cake.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So we yeah we get distracted by sweet things, don't we? You've realised that.
Mm,
Anyway, let's get back on track. So the
sorry. Yes.
tool or tip. I'm not really sure if it's tool,
Maybe
a
it's a
tip, or a technique.
technique.
Yes, probably. It's one of them. That's why we decided to go for all three T's.
Possibly all of them.
Exactly. So no surprises here. We're gonna feature questions. So I've called this one Ask a Different Question. Because if motivation, like we discussed last week, is a reason for acting, and fear or perfectionism is something that can get in the way of us doing that, it blocks the action, then the question that sometimes pops up for us is, why can't I make myself do this?
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is actually one of the world's most unhelpful questions, isn't it? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's not really a good answer to that one. So this is a much gentler question to ask, which is, what would make starting feel easier? So it doesn't even say about finishing,
Ooh.
completing, it's just starting feeling easier. It's like literally
Yeah.
taking the handbrake off the car rather than it being jammed on and we're wondering why we're not going at 90 miles an hour or whatever safe speed we should be doing. It's just, take the handbrake off and give it a gentle push so it actually just starts rolling. We may not have got in to drive it yet, but at least something is happening, something is moving, because we're just reducing a bit of friction, looking for that easy way to start. So some possible variations, because we like to give
Mm-hmm.
you a bit of choice here. So something like, what would make this less intimidating?
Oh, yeah.
Or what's the least demanding version or way of achieving a step closer to X, whatever it is? And I think that can be helpful for longer term goals that seem quite
Yeah.
daunting, or those big decisions where we think there's actually quite a few component parts to it. It's like, okay, well, what is step one? Or I sometimes call it the 90-degree move. I quite like that one, Kirsty. It's like when you're thinking you're wanting to do a 180, it's like it's a big move. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what's a 90-degree move, or even, even less than that. Let's make it
45
a few
degrees.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
The 3
exactly,
degrees? We like 3.
exactly. Yes, you like threes, yeah, exactly. So this idea, asking a different question, I think it's just
Yeah.
quite a helpful way of recognizing. Start where you are with the handbrake on, and see what you can actually do. Which is hopefully, at the very least, we'll get the handbrake off, and we've perhaps started rolling just a few inches.
Absolutely. And I think a question that I've heard used, which I rather like, is what one thing could I do?
Yeah,
Because just you were saying
yeah,
about breaking it down, making it feel less intimidating. I mean, it's very much like that. What's the least demanding version or way of achieving a step closer to this? It's that what one thing can I do? Kind of makes it nicely bite size.
which is very appropriate for a bite-sized episode.
It is, isn't it? I was hoping you'd
Intentional, of
spot that.
course.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
course,
Okay.
always.
So our second tool, tip, technique, whichever it might be,
Mm-hmm.
choose, take a pick, is the idea here is to lower the effort, but not the importance.
Well, that's
So we
interesting.
spoke a little bit about this last week. We get quite fixated on outcomes and sort of ignore the process part. And if we set the bar really high, it can be really off putting to even start because we think, oh, I'm never going to get there. It's so far away. And that puts us on the back foot. It's like we're on an uphill struggle already. So, what do I mean about lowering the effort and not the importance? So, let's talk about this practically. And I think if you start by, okay, let's be really honest. What is the outcome that we care about? What is it that we actually want? Not what we think we should want, but what we actually do want. And then
Important distinction.
separate. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then if we can separate that for a moment from the action that we might take, so instead of wrapping it all up into one, we kind of break it down. So, for example, if there's something is the outcome is something like, I want to feel in more control, or I want to feel healthier, or I want the clarity on X, whatever it might be, that's quite a big thing to try and accomplish.
Yeah.
And we get a bit distracted. I don't know where to start, so we don't. But the action today can actually probably be a lot smaller than we think. So step three is to choose that small enough action. It's not entirely disconnected from some things we spoke about in tip number one, but it's
Mm.
something you could do even if your motivation is not particularly high. It may not be massively impressive. You won't be necessarily be
I'm
boasting
glad to
about
hear
it,
it.
and it definitely won't be perfect, but it will be a step closer nonetheless. That's the idea behind that. So I really like this idea of finding just something small to get going.
Yes, that idea that the action today can be a lot smaller than you're probably thinking. That's really reassuring, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like building a step. When you if there's several pictures that depict this, I think, about someone trying to ascent something and it's huge and they've got to take ginormous steps, and then the person next door is creating little tiny steps to get
Mm.
there. So when
Yeah.
you return to it tomorrow, you're already starting. Okay, you might only be 10 centimeters off the ground, but that's 10 centimeters further up than you were the day before, and then the next day, and so on. And after a few days, you're that much closer to your end result than if you're still on the ground trying to look how to leap all the way to the top.
Yes, spending all that time trying to work out the thing to do to get where you want to go means you're not going anywhere. There's something I heard recently about if you want to be a writer, then write every day. Where it'd be very easy to get stuck, I guess, thinking about, well, what am I going to write my bestseller about? What's it going to be about? What's the characters going to be? How's the story going to pan out? Where am I going to
Mm.
sit and write? What am I going to do? And you get so caught up in the whole thing has to be planned out and perfectly laid out before you even start that you never do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, thinking of an outcome of a finished novel, no wonder that's quite overwhelming and daunting.
Yeah.
That you're a long way, let's be completely honest. You're a long way from that. But it doesn't stop you from brainstorming some ideas right now, some like character plots and twists and whatever it might be. Nothing's actually set until right at the end, but there are several
Mm.
steps on the way there. So let's
Number
carry on. I've got
three.
the number three. Here we go. And this is the idea of working with your motivation rather than it feeling like, sometimes it feels
Mm.
like you're in a bit of a fight. I can't be the only one who has fights with myself over whether I can be
No,
bothered
no, my
to do something or
de
not.
definitely not. I mean, my motivation is not only very erratic beast, but it's extraordinarily argumentative, I find.
Yes.
Or maybe it's me that's argumentative. One of us definitely is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to go through that. I hope this is going to make an awful lot of sense, and I'm going to take a little punt on what I think your response might be, Kirsty, and I'll share it after. We'll see if I'm right from what I know about you.
Am I going to turn out
So,
to be very predictable? I suspect I am.
well, who knows? I might be really wrong. I mean, in total fairness, it will be context dependent for what's going on, what the situation, the
Hmm.
challenges, the decision, whatever it is where your motivation has gone a bit AWOL. But you can think to yourself, okay, am I more motivated by following? Is it relief or reward? Is it connection, completion? So I'm going to explain
Ooh.
these with a few examples so it'll make a lot more sense. So,
Mm.
relief motivation. This is, for example, how quickly can this be off my list, my to-do list? You're someone who likes to cross it off, get it
Yes,
done.
yes, definitely.
Are you going for a yes already? Hang on, Kirsty, I've got three more to go.
No, I'm the kind of person who will write something I've just done onto my to-do list so I can cross it off.
Do you know what? I knew one of us was going to say that because I do it too. I'm not sure what this says about us, Kirsty, as coaches that we do that, but never mind. Um, let's carry on because I'm hoping
Yes,
I might be drawn to it. I'm showing my hand here, but anyway. So I've got the reward motivation. That could be like, what do I get when this is done? So
biscuits.
what? Well, yeah. See, this is what I was going for. I was thinking Kirsty's bound to be drawn to that. I can have a biscuit once I've done my tax return, something like
A biscuit. Oh, by tax
a
return, it would
packet.
need to be a packet of biscuits at the
Yeah,
very
not a packet
least.
of biscuits. Yeah, it's got to be commensurate with the task in hand. Let's be
Yes,
honest.
yes.
Okay, but yeah. So just to recap that. So it's what do I get when this is done for reward motivation? The connection motivation could be who could I talk this through with? Whose input, wisdom,
Mm,
insight might be helpful here to help me move this forward? Completion motivation. How will I feel once this is done? And I think that the tick off the list also falls slightly into this
does,
category.
doesn't it? Yeah.
It reminds me, I know that one of these tests, one of the personality tests, I think has something called a completer finisher as one of the types. Have you come across that before, Kirsty?
I've heard the phrase.
Yeah, it's the kind of person who once they start something, they like to get it done. And I have a feeling I did come up as one of those. Whether I am still, that'd be very interesting because this is going back a very, very long time. But the fact that, I do like this idea of something was on my list and I've done it, tick, it's done. The irony is, of course, a lot of stuff in life isn't quite like that. We don't get to often tick things off and they're done for good. But I think it, again, that's why I said it can be context dependent because, of course, motivation is personal. And you may find that one of these spurs a response in you. That's the relief, the reward, connection, or completion. And others might make no difference whatsoever. You might not be
Mm.
someone who has to write something on the list just to say you can tick it off. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really interesting. And the only one I don't think, see what I'm going to do here, I connected with is the connection motivated. And I think
Mm,
maybe that's a bit of an introvert thing because my understanding is that introverts tend to like to think things through before they discuss them.
yeah.
And I find that very much. I like to get it clear in my own head and work it through before I have the conversation about it. So that's probably the one that least appeals to me until I get to a certain point. But all of the
Yeah.
the others, the relief, the reward, the kind of completion motivated, I would prevaricate forever over starting something. But once I've started it, I want to get it done, which is
Yeah.
probably why I hesitate to start it if I think it's going to be difficult or complicated, or that I don't know how to finish it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
And that's interesting.
interesting.
It is because maybe that connection motivation one is one for you that yes, it's further down the list, but sometimes as we both well know, thinking through something yourself by yourself, sometimes you can go round in a
Mm,
circle. Even
very much
us
so.
as coaches, with all the questions that we know are out there and available to us, we can still get a bit stuck. And it can take
Very much.
talking to someone else to sometimes just break that stalemate. Um, which leads me nicely on to, it's very normal to feel dips in motivation. We are human. But I think it's really about a signal, not a failure. It might be telling us that we're tired, we're
Mhm.
disconnected, we're unclear, or asking too much of ourselves. It could be one of those things at play as well. And that's where support with something like coaching can make a big
Definitely.
difference. You can't always just demand more motivation from yourself, but you can offer support instead. That is always available. And that can be just to pause, refocus, get re energized, connected, and clear again, but with realism and kindness. Because, maybe if you are asking too much of yourself, coaching can be a way to help you realize, okay, what could be something that I can realistically do, and be kind to ourselves in the process. So, if that is something that's of interest, please do get in touch with either of us for our coaching support. Our details will be in the show notes.
Absolutely. And that the questions work so much better when they come externally, I think. It can be hard. I mean, the more you get used to being questioned, the easier it becomes to question yourself.
Yeah.
But I think certainly as you're getting into the habit of doing that, having somebody else question you helps you to face your own blind spots where you wouldn't see to ask the question. And even then, what you just said around, the connection motivation and it coming further down the line and seeking that support, that landed very well with me because I recognize that as what happens. I spend that initial period thinking things through and going over it and trying to get some clarity in my own mind. And then I go and seek the support. Then I go and lay it out before a coach and help, and they get me across the finishing
Yeah.
line, as it were. Whereas somebody else who operates a bit differently might find that more helpful at the start of their process, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it is a very personal
Yeah.
thing. And what we tried to highlight today is that, sources of motivation will come from different places, but these are just some ideas. And hopefully no one felt it was particularly stick-ish, hopefully more carroty. That's that
And
was the flavor
cakey.
we were going for. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And as Catherine said, sometimes it's just dips. Sometimes you need a rest. It might be that simple.
Yeah. So there we go. We have covered our tools, tips, and techniques. I'm sure I'm saying them in a different order every single time. We'll get the hang of it someday soon, maybe or not. We are mission imperfect. But that's it for this week, and we will see you all soon with another episode. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Mission Imperfect. We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of our episodes, especially if you've had a light bulb moment in answering one of the questions, have benefited from one of the tips, or have a suggestion for an episode topic.
And if these conversations have made you curious about how coaching could help you, please don't hesitate to get in touch with one or both of us to find out more about what we offer. Until next time, keep being imperfectly you. No one does it better.